How can we know about the existence of God? How do we know that Allah exists? Really, the existence of Allah is a simple fact that nobody with intelligence can deny. Nobody with intelligence can deny that there is a creator who created this universe and this world in which we live. Why? Because if we look at the universe, we see that the universe and the world in which we live is organized, that we have planets, solar systems, galaxies, all of them working according to very strict laws. Let us just take the earth on which we live. And this is something Allah He tells us to do in the Quran, to reflect, to contemplate on the creation. In fact, Allah He says that in these things there are enough signs. There are enough signs for those who contemplate. Look at our earth. We live on a planet that science tells us today, the earth rotates on its axis once every 24 hours. So the sun is shining, you can imagine that's the sun, and the earth is turning on its axis. So when this bit of the earth is facing the sun, it is day, and the other part of the sun, the other part of the earth is away from the sun, that is the night. So the earth turns on its axis once every 24 hours. Imagine if the earth was spinning very slowly. Very slowly. So instead of the earth spinning on its axis once every 24 hours, it spun on its axis once every 20 years. So imagine a day was 10 years long and a night was 10 years long. Yes? Because the earth is spinning slowly. What would happen? One part of the earth's surface would always be exposed, at least for 20 years, to the sun. And the other part would be in the shade for 10 years. 10 years and 10 years. So the sun beating down on the earth, as I'm sure you know, in Australia you get the sun here a lot. And Australia, most of it is desert. I remember flying across a continent that was really mostly a desert. Imagine this, there is no night. The sun is beating down constantly. You will have one part of the earth's surface will become superheated, and the other part will become super cooled. And most likely life will not exist. But the earth happens to spin at this beautiful, precise movement once every 24 hours. Not only that, it is just the right distance from the sun. If it was closer to the sun, it would be too hot. If it was further from the sun, it will be too cold. We have gases in our Earth's atmosphere. Oxygen, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. In exactly the right balance for life to exist. Oxygen is essential for life's existence. But pure oxygen is poisonous. That's why we need carbon dioxide. And we also need nitrogen, which helps to fertilize the soil. We have a gas on the Earth's atmosphere called ozone. This is the name of the gas, the ozone layer, which is a gas, it is a layer of this gas ozone. And this gas happens to have the property of filtering out the harmful effects of the sun's radiation. Take away this gas, then radiation that would hit the Earth's surface would kill all life. Water is amazing property water has. When water is solid, it floats on the liquid. Meaning ice floats on water. Put ice in your glass of water and does it sink to the bottom or does it float to the top? Icebergs, do they sink to the bottom of the sea or they float on the top? They're on the top. But this is only with water. With other materials, it is the opposite. The solid sinks to the bottom of the liquid. But imagine if water had the property of all other materials. Imagine if solid water sank instead of floated. Then every river would be frozen from the bottom, the seas would be frozen from the bottom, and life would not exist. And we can look and look and look, and what we find everywhere is this precision. Everything is constructed according to a fantastic plan. If we talk about our eyes, our brain, our ears, the animals, the trees, the plants, how they all exist in this symbiotic relationship, each one relying upon the other, you will see what a beautiful, balanced mechanism that we live in. How do we explain this? We have to ask some questions. Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Did it come from nothing? Now you see, we talk about universal principles. You see, all human beings, all of us everywhere, we understand certain things. We have a shared set of principles we all understand. Yes? For example, it doesn't matter where you go to Turkey, to Lebanon, to England, to Australia, to the South Pole, North Pole, wherever you go, and you ask a human being, is part of something less than the whole of that thing? Is a part of something less than the whole? Is a part of this sponge on the microphone, is one part of it less than the whole of it? You'll all say yes, this small part of it is less than the whole of it. We all agree. Every human being agrees. There are some things we all agree on. One of the things we agree on, if we ask someone, do you find something coming from nothing? Do you find something coming from nothing? We say we don't find that. We don't find something just coming from nothing. Do you find order spontaneously arising from chaos? You say no. If I see some order, I know someone or something has imposed order on it. That's why I can take out the most simple thing. You know what's a simple thing? Is a key. Look, a very simple thing. A key. So simple. Really? But there's not one of us who will think that this came from nowhere, from chance and coincidence. We know someone made it, someone constructed it for a purpose. We know that. We know that we don't get something coming from nothing. In fact, when we look in this mosque, subhanAllah, what a beautiful example. We are amazed at the ability of the artist to paint these beautiful geometric designs on the ceiling and around the mosque. And the more beautiful and the more intricate and the more difficult the architecture, the more we are amazed at the ability of those people. Yes? So these things tell us something about the ones who made it. This is what we know from our human experience. So when we ask the question, in fact, Allah asks the question in the Quran about this, the universe, about ourselves. Did it come from nothing? Human beings, we know that you don't get something coming from nothing. You know why, my brothers and sisters? Atheism is the most irrational, it is the most irrational of all beliefs. Because it is expecting us to believe something that no human being has ever experienced. There is nothing in the whole totality of human experience to lead us to believe that something comes from nothing. Let alone the beautiful order that we find in this universe.